before we start the meeting, Commissioner Cindy Kessler has made a request to attend this meeting via electronic means. Commissioner Kessler is prevented from physically attending this meeting, this annual meeting, because of employment purposes. Commissioners are present and required to vote on this request.
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Yes. Cindy, you are officially welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
It is 6:01 and the official meeting for the annual meeting for the Vernon Hills Park District Board of Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Robbins,
Here.
Commissioner Senti,
Here.
Commissioner Kessler,
Here by phone.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Here.
President Dorhoeffer.
Here, can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
States of America.
And to the republic
Republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
justice for all.
Sorry about that. The first item on the agenda is the omnibus vote agenda. Items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and or non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If a separate vote on any one item is desired, it will be pulled from the omnibus vote agenda and voted on separately. Items of the omnibus for this evening are the minutes of the regular board meeting dated April 28th, 2022, minutes of the special board meeting dated May 12th, 2022, payrolls and payables through May 26th, 2022 in the amount of $573,330.16. Could I have a motion to approve the omnibus vote agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes, next item is the welcome to visitors public comment period. We have a special guest with us tonight, so I would like to ask Holly Weber to please join me at the podium. This evening, we are celebrating Holly Weber for 30 years of dedicated service to the children of Little Learners Preschool, endless numbers of summer day camps, and the many children she taught with expertise in our dance program. Congratulations on your retirement. We hope you enjoy your well-earned rest and relaxation. Presented to you on this day, the 26th of May, 2022, signed by myself, David Dorhoeffer, Park Board President, and Jeff Bougereau, Executive Director.
I appreciate this also very much, and I would just like to say that the last 30 years has been nothing but a pleasure. To have the opportunity to wake up every morning and be truly happy and blessed to be going to your place of employment and going to work and loving every single minute of it. It was a joy, it was a pleasure. I thank you all for allowing me to have this opportunity. I mostly thank the parents and all those beautiful children. And I actually have had, the last year or so, the opportunity to have children of children that I've had. You're making me old. Very old. But I was honored and blessed that Let Alone did all of these beautiful families bring us their children, but then they also brought us their children. So I thank you all. I thank everybody for all the support and the love that you always showed in the last 30 years. I will look back only with very, very fond memories. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Come up in front of the dais.
I always forget.
I think we leave them.
Leave them up
I
front.
think we end up covering them, yeah. No, that would be a the other side.
Oh, yeah, that's
okay. Oh.
Oh, we got girl here though.
You wanna do it, Holly? You wanna do it, Holly? You wanna do it with your family?
Isn't that beautiful? Thank you so much, really, it's just been nothing but a pleasure. Yeah. Thank you.
Pleasure, I mean, we don't want to take pleasure.
My husband may say, oh, go back.
Holly, we're gonna have you stand here, and then we'll just get your family and friends
Oh,
here.
okay.
Cheryl will get a photo from behind the
Okay, I'm
dais.
gonna sit so I can be next to Dad.
That's fine. I'll get you all in.
Here we are. Ready?
Let me see. Oh, I can fit everybody.
Okay.
Let me take a couple. Okay, let me take a look. Super, and I'll send these to you.
Oh, good, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Aww.
Big old marshmallow. And truly thank you for being here this evening. Thank you so much.
Go. Yeah, we
Yeah, you're welcome to stay.
You have to stay.
It's a riveting
If you're
meeting.
under the room, you have to stay.
don't have to say.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very much appreciated.
Leaving.
I will.
Children here. Your boys too. Thank you.
Thanks for y'all coming.
Thanks, Julie.
Next item on the agenda is financial reports for the period ending April 30th, 2022. Superintendent Mitchell, are there any changes to the reports as filed? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, reports and communication. Finance and HR Superintendent Jessica Mitchell. Jessica.
As we're 11 months into the budget year, I'd like to share that the district is on pace for a projected year-end surplus. We will be going through an audit in August, and,
What's that?
It doesn't sound like it.
It's not on.
Test.
There
retake.
You're okay.
So in August, we will have our audit where we'll be able to provide official numbers, but I can confidently share that the district has spent less capital than what was anticipated for 11 months. Our recreation program revenues are higher than budgeted, and Lakeview is projected to show a surplus. Additional financial areas that I'd like to share, there were 3 payrolls in April, so you'll notice that in your financial summary statements that were in your board packets. And also, the district did not acquire any unemployment fees for the first quarter of 2022, and actually a credit will be applied. I did mention the audit in August. The preliminary work is underway for the district. Representatives from Lauterbach and Amen have prepared a pre-packet for me that has been started, and they will be coming for preliminary field work on June 15th. And aside from that, just a couple HR updates. You are aware of Holly Weber's retirement, and in addition to that, we have Susan Catalick, who was a Little Learners Child Care teacher for the past 7 years, who also retired. And we just like to thank both of them for their dedication to the children. Also, the district welcomes a new full-time customer service representative, Lisa Srendeski. She did start on May 16th at the Sullivan Community Center. Any questions?
Any questions? Commissioner Robbins.
Jessica, I think I've mentioned this before. I know that we buy CDs up through 60 months. And again, my thinking is that if there's any CDs that are maturing in the next month or so, maybe it makes sense just to keep it in a money market account and wait, because I know the Fed is increasing the prime rate in June and July, and it could be that after around August 1st, we can get 60-month CDs over 4%. which is a lot higher than, what we've been getting now. So that's my thought, that in case any money that's maturing, maybe hold in a money market for a couple of months and then start buying 60-month CDs.
Yeah, thank you. You did mention that, and I have been sharing with Les. He's planning on coming in July to the board meeting, so everyone can meet him. We spoke about that at the last meeting, and I know he watches these board meetings as well, so
Okay.
I appreciate the reminders.
Any other questions for Jessica? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Recreation Superintendent Tom Ritter. Tom?
Good evening, everybody. Well, our PALS program is coming to an end, and it was a very, very good year. It was nice to get back to regular after-school programming instead of the remote learning we've been dealing with. So, little history, we used to be in 2 schools, north and south. And we advanced to 4 schools, adding Town Line and Aspen. And we were hoping to grow to 5 schools by adding the kindergarten building, the Young Learner School. And then COVID hit, so we're back to 2 schools, north and south, but we added Hawthorne, I always get the name wrong, School for Young Learners.
Yes.
And it was very, very successful. I just wanted to thank Jill Martin, who's the principal at that school, for being a very good partner. She's always been very supportive in letting us use space and whatever makes the program work, so kudos to Jill. But yeah, it really worked out this year using the kindergarten. I think it was really nice to have the kids, kindergarten kids, first exposure to school just with their grade in their space, and it worked really nice. So we're anticipating 3 schools again, but depending on demand, depending on how many kids return, as things are hopefully continuing to get back to normal, the schools have been very supportive of us if we want to go back to 5 schools, which would put every kid in the school they go to, and we don't have to move them around, which would be really nice. So we'll see where the fall brings us. Having said that, registration for the fall starts on June 7th, so if people are interested in signing up, it is always a very popular program, and registration can be done online as well as in person on the 7th. We did a reschedule of our Loop the Lakes 5K run and walk. It went very well. We had approximately 150 registered participants. Main reason I brought it up, I just wanted to thank some of our sponsors because we had a handful of them. So thank you to Dick's Sporting Goods, Jacobson Cell Orthodontics, Baxter Credit Union, North Shore University Health Systems, and Naked Nutrition. I noticed I didn't put in my report, but I did want to mention that the craft beer event went very well. We were disappointed that we brought it indoors, but the weather was not for sure, and there was too many variables to risk doing it outside with the forecast. So despite moving inside, it went really well, and there was just a little extra. This is the first year in all the years we've done it that there was representatives from each beer distributor. Thank you very much to Vinnie's for co-sponsoring it and being that point of contact to have all the different beer distributors and companies come out and represent their own product. It just adds a little extra touch when a beer drinker wants to ask a detailed question and someone from the company can answer it. So very, very nice, went very well. Our next event will be next Saturday, June 4th. Our annual Kids Fishing Day will be taking place over at Century Park at the boat dock location from 9 to noon. Registration is currently open, and we're working with the Libertyville Fishing Club again. So I thank them in advance for their support. We are bringing back our Movies in the Park at Deer Path Park this summer. For those not familiar with it, I know it's a very large park. The movies are held at the north end of Deer Path Park near the Warrington Road location by the shelter. It's in the grass just south of the shelter. So June 24th, they're all Fridays, but June 24th will be our first movie. We'll be showing Encanto, and then we'll be doing a July 29th and an August 26th movie as well. And these are free. Bring up food, enjoy yourself. Comedy Showcase, another event, busy summer. We did this last summer at the Aquatic Center with great success, and we're bringing it back. Friday, July 22nd, same location, the back of the Aquatic Center, a nice contained area. We will have 3 stand-up comedians, the headliner being Tim Welko, who is the grand prize winner on America's Funniest People. I went and checked out his website, and I found myself laughing quite heartily at his demo video. He was quite impressive. So tickets are $35. Again, there's 3 entertainers for the 22nd of July. Tickets are available now. This is a 21 and older event. Family Aquatic Center opens next Saturday, June 4th. This is the first time since 2019 we'll have the full facility scheduled to be open. the river, the slides, the sand play area, you name it. Bobo's is back, the concession stand will be open. Season passes are available. They were not available the last 2 years, and the last week or two, we've really seen a lot of activity at the front desk for camp registration as well as pass sales. So curious to see where we end up since it's been a few years, if it's a big push for passes or not, but it's been very busy the last couple weeks. Having said that, a lot of our camps are full or close to full, so anyone who watches this, if they're interested in day camps, it's time to come in, because we're doing really well with registration. And finally, this is down the road, but I just wanted to mention that we're planning a new special event for adults. It's still a year away, but what's exciting about it is we're partnering with 3 other park districts. So Vernon Hills, I should say that, 2 park districts and a Parks and Recreation department. So Libertyville Parks and Recreation, Grays Lake Park District, Mundelein, and Vernon Hills Park Districts are doing, we're loosely calling it a road rally. People put teams together in a car, they go to a certain, there's multiple sites at each park district, but they go from site to site, they get a clue, they have to perform a task to get the next clue, and they keep traveling around. So that we're all gonna work together to develop this course and this competition, and then it ends with a gathering for like a meal and a social event. So it takes a lot of planning, so we're targeting April or May of 2023, but just something different, working with our neighbors, it should be fun. So any questions? If you have an answer.
Any questions for Tom? Commissioner Sente?
Yes, I was just wondering regarding 2 questions about the craft beer event. One, because it's the first time we have had that since COVID, how our turnout was compared to before. And then second, are we planning to continue to have it outdoor when the weather permits?
All right, first question, we end up with around 180. So we normally get around 200 plus or minus a little. I would say it was the lower end of normal. It was still pretty normal, but a little bit lower. If it was nice out, I'm very curious if we would have had a higher turnout because it was outside.
Yeah.
We won't really know that because we did have walk-ups, but I don't know what the outside would have done. We haven't made a decision on next year. My initial thought is to try it again outside. It's just that planning aspect. You know, you plan certain things, you pay deposits, and then you have to cancel. So we'll have to talk about it as a staff. In concept, we'd love to do it outside. I think it'd be nice to do it out at the south end of Century Park, the new location.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Tom? Thank you, Tom. Next item on the agenda, Marketing and Communication Manager Cheryl Buman. Cheryl?
Good evening, everybody. Our fall program guide was just delivered, our first proof to staff today. It's going to be mailed to the Vernon Hills residents the week of July 19th. This will also include our annual report, and it's the beginning of a year-long Did You Know campaign. So in our book, sprinkled around the book, we'll have just tidbits of information current and our history. So I've been going through old history files that we have and gathering information, and this will continue into our 50th anniversary year for the next year. So that'll be, look for that. We're still gathering all of our information for that. Our website now has a Lakeview Fitness Renovation home slide. And when you click on it, it takes you to our renovation page. So that's updated regularly with photos and new happenings of what's going on over with the project. In the past month, we've had over 11,000 users visit our website, and we've had 18,000 sessions. So our website is being utilized quite a bit. Our top 4 pages visited were the VHAC, and I'm sure that's for all the league information that goes on, the Family Aquatic Center, Lakeview Fitness, and our craft beer event. We have 2 new pamphlets out that Cassidy has worked on very hard. We have our Sully's Gold Star Summer Activity Booklet, and that has the Gold Star theme that we're trying to keep going for the next year. It's a 8-page booklet focusing on our parks. We have stargazing in there and just outdoor games, activities. The booklets were given to all of our children in our early childhood programs, and they're on display here. And as the summer goes on, we'll hand them out at our Time to Play events that we hold in the parks. We also have our Family Aquatic Center Summer Guide that's out and printed in our facilities. It's an oversized trifold pamphlet that has everything that's happening for special days. It has our summer events, it has swim lesson information, it has our lap swims, anything happening at the Family Aquatic Center is in there for people to take. And also has our colorful map so people can see where things are located. I also brought them over to the library and the facilities. We really want people to get back to the pool this year. With that being said, we do have a Groupon this year. It's already live. It's gonna go throughout, unless we want to stop it, but right now it's scheduled to go throughout our whole season. It's for a buy one, get one, non-resident fee. So people are purchasing 2 passes, day passes to the Family Aquatic Center for $16. And you can only use it once per email, so it is very limited. It went live maybe about 2 weeks ago, and I checked today, we've sold 109 of them. So we anticipate, doing very well. We did this a few years ago, and it did very well. So I'll report on that as the summer months go on. And I just wanted to, it is voluntary, but when people do purchase a Groupon, they can take a short survey. So in my report here, this is based on 74 deals, and 32 people out of the 72 did the survey. So it gives us a little bit of a snapshot. It's not scientific because not everybody's taking it, but who's purchasing these Groupons to our aquatic center. So I will report on how many people, in relation to how many are sold, are taking this survey, so we can see if it's a little bit realistic. But nice to see. Over our social media, all of our platforms, I did put a small chart to see what people are looking at, but our top post for our Park District Facebook and Instagram was the park vandalism post. People were very interested in that and very concerned. For our Lakeview Facebook was our Member of the Month, and for our Lakeview Instagram, it's kind of fun. They do sweaty selfies, so I think people really like seeing personalized things, so stop. And I was gone for a week over the past month, so that is my report for the evening, if there's any questions.
Any questions for Cheryl? Nope, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Facility Manager Lacey Velasquez.
Evening. Facility attendance at Lakeview for the month of April was 5,598 visits, with 706 of them being unique visits. Active members as of the end of April totaled 1,943 compared to 1,118 in the year before. There's been considerable progress with the construction project over at Lakeview. It's creating a lot of buzz around the facility, so we see a lot of people going over to check out the pool, checking out the end of the hallway where you can see the pits were dug out. People are really excited to see everything come to life, so it's creating a lot of excitement. Registration for Poses in the Park is ongoing. These classes begin June 15th. For the month of June, the classes will take place out on the island in Century Park. Yoga for Recovery is a 2-day workshop that will be taught by Linda Benton at Lakeview Fitness. This is going to be a class for stress relief, general anxiety. It's a class that will be taking place over the course of 2 days on June 5th and the 12th. Virtual classes are also ongoing with Ann McKenna. Lap swim and water aerobics have been posted in the Lakeview Fitness app, so registration is open for those 2 activities over at the Family Aquatic Center for June, July, August. Hops and Hatha is a new pop-up class that we started this year. It will take place on July 8th over at Century Park. So this is a class that will be taught by Ben Rudson. It's combining beer and yoga, so it's going to be a lot of fun. For the 20 Club, we had 43 members join for the month of April. 21 of these have been in the 20 Club since it started in January, so they are on a streak of 4 months. And the summer education pass is still ongoing. Anybody who's interested is welcome to purchase until July 1st. That concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Lacey? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, Park Superintendent James Kim. James?
Good evening. Just want to start with some Lakeview construction updates. The parking lot preparation is complete, so everything you see is done except for asphalt and curb. The fire hydrant location went well. It was a 1 day, which was really helpful for everyone.
Yeah.
Lake County tested the water after they put in the fire hydrant. It was all clear. They came and tested 24 hours later. Of course, regrading the pond, which is between Lakeview and the glacier, like southwest corner. That is Park District property. That was dug out to account for more compensatory water storage. That is complete, and the village has signed off on that. They just need a seeding, some final touches. As Lacey alluded to, the foundation work is proceeding very well. They've already poured the first slabs in the trenches, and they should be finished by the end of this week. And the pool demolition is going as scheduled. I would say that that is probably the one thing that is not scheduled right now. Now, we're working with Camosi right now for a potential locker room shutdown sometime in July, August. We're not sure yet. Camosi is making sure that they have everything they need to shut the locker room down so that we don't have a second shutdown. And then after that, we're gonna have another shutdown when we do the cardio in the weight room, as well as pouring the new concrete entrance. That's the red pad right in the front. That needs to be replaced for ADA purposes. The slope is not correct going to the parking lot. It's too steep. So that is all for that. Is there any questions on the Lakeview construction updates?
Commissioner Sente?
It might be a little too early with all the material delays that exist in the construction world, but I was just wondering if we knew a tentative season or month when the entire project would be done, and or if we're on schedule.
For the project punch list items, the village, I would say probably mid-December.
Okay.
There are some rooftop units that are gonna take some time. We're working with the village to just secure that we can open the facility with the HVAC units we currently have. We are concerned with the offices that will be without HVAC unit completely. There's an existing unit in the cardio room that can supply the new addition, and then the pool rooftop unit that's currently there, it still works. So there's just some modifications to some electrical and plumbing that there may be a small change order when that new unit comes in. We are working with Camosi though to figure out, would it be better to wait until everything's put in? Because there is some testing and balancing of the HVAC units. That's at least a week, if not two. They go through every louver, they make sure all the CFMs are through every ducts and everything's working correctly as per specifications. Or do we open and then shut that down again for a week while that's done? And that would be both the cardio room and the pool.
Thank you.
Any other questions about Lakeview? Okay.
And then also other things, the bridge connecting Kids Castle to the Arbor Theater. We're gonna have to shut that down for maybe 2 days while we replace the planks. We purchased the planks right after COVID hit, and it took almost 9 months to get them, even though they were just sitting on a truck. So we finally did get them about 6 months ago. So we'll have a contractor out there, hopefully they complete it in 2 days. Just a thank you to Girl Scout Troop 45701. They approached us to do a service project in our parks. They wanted to add a landscape bed. I suggested maybe they adopt an existing bed, so they adopted the Lake Charles sign bed off of the Griggs Parkway. It's right out front. They purchased plants from the Lake County Forest Reserve plant sale, Independence Grove, 2 weekends ago, and they planted this past weekend. Doesn't look like a lot, but there are 30 plants in there. And they've also included adding a kindness rock garden, the ones that we have at Outdoor Parks, at Century, Deer Path, and Hartman. We're just gonna add some more rocks. They've already painted some for people to leave and take as they wish. And they've also made some beehive nests, which we're gonna hold off a little bit to see how the plant beds does first, and then we'll add some rocks and put those in. But it should look nice, and then probably the end of July. There is an irrigation line there that the Griggs Parkway does provide for that planter bed, so we don't have to water everything. Let's see. Solar panels, just want to provide an update. Year-to-date production, we're at 43 million megawatts. That 1 megawatt, just for reference, can power an American home for about a month. That's the entire life of it. So year-to-date for this year, we've only produced about 60% of our energy for this facility, which is a little lower, but it was the winter months, so we're hoping that over the course of the average, it'll be closer to 70%. Page 2 of our my report, I just did a little summary of our utility expenses. I did receive a memorandum from Intel, who's our broker. We are part of the Illinois Utilities Purchasing Cooperative, the IUPC, and they put out a memo mainly about natural gas. The electricity has gone down significantly and will continue to do so. Basically, for our natural gas between July 22 to June of 23, we're looking at an increase of like 35% easily, which is still 130% lower than market value, meaning raw market value, not other fees such as distribution, taxes, and whatnot. Currently, we are paying 44 to 60% less with Constellation as a provider versus North Shore. Our natural gas is a managed account, so there is room for negotiations as market prices do fluctuate. For natural, that's what they recommend, so I won't make those recommendations on that. Whereas the electricity is a fixed account, so we are in a contract and agreement. They just renewed an agreement for July 2022 to June of 24 at a fixed rate, which is about 58% lower than the current market value. We are expected to decrease 6 to 8% from last year for this next fiscal year, basically for us. That may come down another 3 or 4%, but we are kind of locked into a rate, so there's only so much we can wiggle out of. But Intel did contract a really good rate moving forward. But currently, between Constellation, our provider, and ComEd, we're right at a 44% difference. For our water and sewer, we're kind of under Lake County Public Works' guide, and so with increasingly strict guidelines for federal and state, prices increase are inevitable. Also, wage inflation has also affected price structures. We've gone up for just water alone 6.7% since 2019, and then another almost 9% for sanitary. So on our bill, we get charged almost literally twice. One for supply and one for to lead to Lake Bluff area. Just another memorandum that I received, based on the inflation of the current rates, we're looking at a really significant rate increase overall in Lake County for 2023. And that concludes our report.
Any questions for James? Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner Sente.
I was a little late on the draw. Just based on your last question, I was wondering if our 5-year projection, we feel like we've accounted for that significant increase. If we went back to look at that, we felt like our projections were conservative enough to address that, or maybe we look at it again.
I think we're gonna need to review it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret, I think everything with just inflation and everything is just going crazy on costs of just material and especially utilities of what James has addressed, especially electric and water. We're seeing that, so it's something I think we're definitely gonna have to address.
Any other questions? Thank you, James. Next item on the agenda, Executive Director Jeff Woojeru.
Just a handful of things. I don't want to be repetitive. James did a really nice job on just updating you with things going on at Lakeview. But in answer, just to follow up to Commissioner Sente's question about materials and just timely. And so we've stressed very much, I know a lot of it with our construction management team, you know, about really trying to get the facility open and ready by November. So some of the items that James alluded to with HVAC issues, we feel like there's still some things we can do to be compliant. I've spoken with, leaders at the village and our fire chief, and both of them have been really receptive in terms of working with us and just saying, quite frankly, Jeff, we're gonna make it happen for you, whatever you need. And so that's just great reassurance from some of our, our local leaders that, they understand our predicament, that we can't be in a position where we're pushing this project out to, mid to late December and January. We've got to be open by November. So from a heat perspective, that's really one of the conduits there that, you know, I think is gonna be something that is gonna be a little challenging. If any of you, I'd invite any of the board members, if you're ever interested in going by, and certainly you can just walk over to the facility on your own if you haven't been in there. Lacey and her team are there, they can show you around, but a lot of activity going on, and when you look inside the shell of that indoor pool and what they're digging out there, you know, where we had the old slide, and so it's good. We've been really pleased with the activities since they started about 6 weeks ago. All of us, they're working hard. So just a couple things we've got on the agenda tonight. You've got the Grosse Pointe Park tennis court bid recommendation. We're really happy with that number. We had a budget per the DCEO grant that we got for 200,000. So that 182 there that is up for board adoption includes them putting on new windscreens as well. So that's included in that price, which saves obviously us and James and his staff having to install all that. And then just with some of the other A&E fees that are included in that, we're still right on budget with that. So that's really, we're really happy with that. And we have a good contractor. We have the same contractor that did our Deer Path tennis courts several years ago. And then just with the DEI workshop, we've kind of kicked that can down the road a little bit. It looks now like we're into July potentially that we can hopefully get everybody together, and Jessica and I will work with you on that information. But Jessica did provide for you a summary. It was in your packet. So of where we're at currently with just staff, advancement on the DEI. So if there are specific items in there that you have any questions on, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to, you know, work you through that. You also have board policy. There's on the agenda tonight. So any conversation on that, we can certainly, if there's things you want to discuss at the dais and we want us to change, we can move this on to next month if it's something we need to table. And then just two other things, a reminder about, we have this special meeting presentation on Tuesday, June 7th. We're going to have both Water Play will present at 4:30 and then Vortex at 5:30. We've dedicated an hour. I think that's plenty of time for them. We will ask them to, we have asked them to provide renderings in advance so you can look and some of the, you know, just what they're trying to look at in terms of presenting. But I think it's also gives the board an opportunity to ask some real pertinent questions about their manufacturing and their part replacement and the longevity of it and the cost of it. And so anything and everything you can think of that you may want to ask the vendors, they will be prepared. And we've given them that position in advance that these are things that may get, you know, fired at you that evening. The goal after that night is to have some kind of clear-cut direction and decision from the board on a vendor so that I can then work with the rest of the team in getting this, our project team in getting this together. Because of the timeliness of it, we've got to have drawings into IDPH by late fall to keep us on target for that potential movement. So we're talking about this very publicly now. So there'll be, you know, there's no reason for any of you that you have conversation from people. You know, this is something that you know, we're still talking about. Until you get the actual numbers, you know, we'll see where, you know, where it's going to play out. Lastly, I've invited John Buckner, our Executive Director of SRA CLC, to our June meeting to do an annual update on behalf of our Special Rec Association. I think you're all privy to just their, you know, upcoming move there, but it's always good to have John come in and just give you some, you know, just some really good things that SRA is working on. I don't have anything else. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Jeff? Commissioner Sante?
I was just wondering how that Lakeview construction project sign was going, if we're.
It's out there.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's out there. It's there.
Okay.
It's there. Take a good look.
Maybe I'm driving too fast.
It's a 4x8 sign.
Okay, I'm gonna look.
It's on stilts, and it's a sign with the rendering
Oh,
of
good.
exterior, and then it has Camosi, and it has our logo, and it has all the board members listed on there, your names and titles, and so it's just a project that, you know, when you go by any kind of construction site, we want to keep people looped in. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Commissioner Geraldo?
For the splash pad, did you say we would, so we're gonna have the meeting with the two vendors. At that meeting, will they not only provide the renderings, but they would also provide a cost, right? So that we could
Correct.
walk in, okay, okay.
That's-
Okay,
yes.
Perfect,
Yep.
thank you.
Any other questions for Jeff? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Commissioner Committee reports. We have none for this evening. Board correspondence, we have none. So we'll move on to new business. Item A, the approval of Administrative Policy 1.00, Park Board of Commissioners. Could I have a motion to approve Section 1.00 of the District Administrative Policy as written, including the proposed revisions to the Recreation Advisory Committee?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. Yeah, Commissioner Sente.
I did have two suggestions, and one was, I don't know if I need to tell you exactly where it is. But one would be in section 1.03, general conduct of the board, and maybe just under the section, I think our page numbers are the same, but I think for us it would be page 8 under in meeting my responsibility to the community. I thought maybe something that said that board members should be familiar with all the facilities and parks and make a conscious attempt to attend Park District events and conference and activities that are benefiting from board participation. So that was a suggestion. And should I just do the second one and then we talk, or?
Any questions on that one?
None on my part.
So it would be under 1.03, there's a
Correct.
section that says, "In meeting my responsibility to my community," and there's a list of 7 or 8 items that you, as a board member, should do.
Correct.
And you're asking to just add that particular clause to that.
Yes, suggesting that, and again, I want to say that we phrase it in a way, we can't make everything. I mean, I was out of town and I didn't make the craft beer event, right? So it isn't about, but it's just kind of a general statement that we're trying to make that effort to do so.
Okay. Any questions about that? Any objection about that? Okay.
And then the second was this Recreation Advisory Committee, and I'll admit, I have, since I've been on the board, and I haven't been that committee person, so I haven't observed any happening, but for 1.04, I was asking Jeff a little bit about that, and I said, he mentioned that it's primarily for commenting on programs and events only. And my thought was, it is an advisory committee, but I wasn't sure why we wanted to limit people to just commenting on those areas. If they had some comments or suggestions for the district and improvement in general, that it would be a little bit more open-ended. It could be a facility or a park or even a policy thing that they might want us to consider. And so I just thought we'd make it a little bit more broad. Then I don't know if we have to change the name of the committee, but at least maybe consider that.
Any questions or objections regarding that?
So I would say, and just conversing with Tom, there are times that members of this committee have brought to his attention facility questions.
Right.
We have 2 of the members that are active members at Lakeview. So they'll bring up from time to time, Tom, hey, can we look at this? And Tom will then share that with Lacey or her staff. There are times, like in a park setting, there was you brought to my attention, Tom, a sand volleyball court at Deer Path where the balls were going into the CV ditch. So he brought it up to the park superintendent. They then put up a screening to prohibit balls from going into the CV ditch. So perhaps the acronym REC advisory maybe could be changed so that it is a little more all-encompassing. So I don't want to infer that what's written in the current script here in terms of the assignments couldn't be more universal, more global. And so that's something that, you know, we whether you change the name to REC advisory, and I think I've shared with you, Carol, I mean, and Janice and Bruce, the history on that. I would refrain in terms of policy.
Okay.
That one makes me a little apprehensive. So I think if somebody's interested on the serving on the committee, I know Commissioner Kessler addressed it with me about just making sure that if we do solicit, that we really, you know, have our marketing team really put it out there and solicit. The original intent was we tried to get somebody from different neighborhoods, all the different neighborhoods around the community. And now we're in a position where we had that originally with 7 members, and we're down to about 4 now actively, but they're not necessarily spread out to all the different, you know, subdivisions, if you will, or the different sectors of the community. So I'm open to just conversation from the board in terms of, you know, a renaming, or we can come back to you with a suggestion instead of REC advisory. You can just call it Park District Advisory, you know, and just keep it generic or something like that. Tom would still be our conduit from the staff, so if there are other interests from some of the members on the committee outside of recreation, then he would just communicate with James or Cheryl or Lacey, you know, other department heads. Fair enough? Does that sound
That sounds
That
good to
work?
me. Yeah.
for everybody?
And in terms of the geography, I mean, you know, it's kind of like the DEI issue. Like we're trying to get a broader mix of people, and so we can invite. And then there's only so much we can do. People have to want to do it, right? So
Sure.
we can try and see if let people know from the different areas of town.
All right, so is everybody comfortable with adding the verbiage to 1.03?
Yeah.
Yes.
And to 1.16, if we take out the term policy? Where am I at here?
1.04.
1.04, I'm sorry. Take out the term policy.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody has the language that Carol, I mean, I think you just read it, you know, so, you know. If she shares it with me, Dave, maybe what I'd suggest, Dave, is let me have an opportunity to clean the document up.
Okay.
And then get it back to you guys, and we can table this for tonight, and then we can just vote on it at the June meeting.
Yeah, include the language, and we'll vote on the new proposed language in June.
Sounds good.
All right, so that item is tabled. Next item on the agenda, the Grosse Pointe Park bid recommendation. Could I have a motion to award the contract for the Grosse Pointe Park project to Evans and Son Blacktop Incorporated in the amount of $182,057.81?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler, President Dorhoeffer.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 3-22, an ordinance making a combined annual budget and appropriation of funds for the Vernon Hills Park District for the fiscal year beginning June 1, 2021 and ending May 31, 2022. Can Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 03-22?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion.
I-
Commissioner Robbins?
I think, I'm sorry, do you have the dates correct?
That was my question. Is this for last year or is this for the coming year? So wouldn't it be June 1, 2022
Right.
Yes,
and May 2023?
yes.
Okay, that's, okay.
I would please ask you to reread.
Yeah, so we're gonna kill that one and go to ordinance 3-22, an ordinance making a combined annual budget and appropriation of funds for the Vernon Hills Park District for the fiscal year beginning June 1, 2022 and ending May 31, 2023. Could I have a motion to adopt ordinance 03-22?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler? Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yes. Next item on the agenda, actually, let's go to, skip down to the item G. Let's skip D and E. And we'll go to item F. 2022-2023 Board Officer Appointments, Secretary, Treasurer, and Attorney. Could I have motion to appoint Executive Director Fougeroux as the Board Secretary, Superintendent Jessica Mitchell as the Board Treasurer, and Tressler LLP as the Board Attorney?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kessler? Yes. Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yes. Next item on the agenda, item G, 2022-23 Board Officer Election, President and Vice President.
Okay, so.
Executive Director Fougeroux.
Yes, as secretary, I would ask for any nominations for the election of Park Board President.
I'd like to nominate Dave Dorhofer for our board president.
Are there any other nominations to be heard from the dais? Okay, hearing none, then, so we have a nomination for Dave Dorhofer as president. Could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yes, and thank you.
Okay, and the next item would be for the office of vice president. I would ask for, again, nominations from the dais for the election of Park Board Vice President.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Sente to be the board vice president for the upcoming fiscal year.
Okay, we have a nomination for Commissioner Sente. Are there any other nominations from the dais? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yes. We will go back to item D, 2022-2023 Committee Liaison Board Member Assignments. I would like to ask Commissioner Kessler, no, Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
as the Hawthorne School District 73 Liaison.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to appoint Commissioner Sente and myself to be the Park District Village Vernon Hills Board Liaisons. For committee assignments, I'd like to ask Commissioner Geraldo to be our representative to the Park District Advisory Committee.
Thank you.
Commissioner Robbins, would you lead the Audit Committee, please?
Yes.
Thank you. And Commissioner Sente, could you please lead the Board Development Committee? Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Commissioner comments. Commissioner Sente.
Nothing today.
Commissioner Robbins?
Nothing this evening.
Commissioner Sente.
Again, nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just noticed that.
Commissioner Geraldo.
Nothing on my part, thank you.
Commissioner Kessler?
Nothing today, thank you.
And nothing for myself. With that in mind, could I have a motion to go into closed session under Section 2C1 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act for the purpose of discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employees of the district?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes, we are adjourned to closed session.